Hello and welcome to the Other Team's Tunes Tuesday, a weekly series that discusses music and matters with queer artists you love. I'm your host, Maud Mosley. My pronouns are they, them, and joining me this week is San Francisco-based moody pop band, Gloomy June. Thank you so much for joining me this week. Would you like to introduce yourselves?
Sure. My name's Alexi. My pronouns are she, her, and also whatever you like. I'm the singer of Gloomy June. Yeah.
I'm Devin. My pronouns are he, they, and I'm the guitarist and backup singer for Gloomy June.
Fantastic.
Thanks for having us.
Amazing. Well, I'm so glad to have you both here, and I'm really excited to dive into everything that you've been up to because a lot has been changing recently. And, first and foremost, I want to address the name change that you've recently gone through as, people only coming across your music or social media now may kind of believe that you're new to the scene, but, that's far from the case, previously performing as the Y-Axis. Can you speak more about what influenced and inspired the name change for the band?
So one thing, great job saying the previous name correctly. You are one of maybe 1/4 of people that see that name and say it correctly. And that is also the main reason why we changed it.
Do you get Axis a lot?
Axis, they add hyphens to it. Like
you can hear the hyphen.
This is not being hyperbolic. 50% of the time, bookers would get it wrong.
It actually got worse after we changed the name. Folks would be like, you used to be in a band, the Y-Axis. And it'd just be like, the Y-AXIS. And we're just like, oh, this is why.
We are kind of treating it like we're a new band, though. Like, we started from scratch on Spotify. We didn't start from scratch on socials, but like, we got a new drummer over the pandemic. We've been writing all new songs, and we've been like really wanting to take it seriously. And some of us are like quitting our jobs, and we're becoming like a touring band. So we just really wanted to rebrand and like be a new thing. So we're not like inexperienced musicians, but we are kind of starting from scratch in a way.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I love that. And I feel like you did just briefly mention kind of like the impact that's having on your music and kind of how you're carrying yourself as a band. So can you speak just a little bit more to that?
Absolutely. I believe that we tried really hard as the Y-Axis to like balance like day jobs as well as our passion of making music. And I think that like just having like a new name and a new clean slate has helped us just like really like focus on what we want to do. Personally for me, I feel like not being able to play shows during 2020 and most of 2021 because of the pandemic, I was like, oh man, when we can get back to doing this, I'm gonna do just this. I was talking about quitting my job in like mid 2020. I was like, I can't wait, but I need a reason.
I did quit my job in
mid 2020.
Mid 2020.
Yeah.
I didn't get that.
Or was it mid 2021?
It is mid 2021. Yeah, I don't know.
Pandemic time ceased to exist. It's all been 1 year that feels only like a couple months.
Exactly. Writing the right date has been impossible.
Yeah. No, but that sounds really exciting. And I mean, I definitely see that, effort that's coming through in the work that you've been releasing and in that change of sound, so following the release of Save Anyone, which was one of the, first singles that you released as Gloomy June.
It was the first single.
Yeah. And then your most recent single, which was Always Gonna Let You Down, which fantastic, by the way. I can't stop listening to it.
Thanks so much.
That April 21st. And, the sounds, lyrics, and music videos for each really walk that playful line between, party anthems and melancholic music, even with the aligning visuals of joy alongside like the Grim Reaper and violence and kind of like those original angels with all the eyes that kind of look more scary than what we see as angelic. But yeah, how does it?
Yeah, I mean, like
bringing.
I was gonna say like.
Oh, sorry.
Well, like part of also the rebrand was like when we started the band, we kind of were just like figuring out aesthetics as we went, and we didn't really know what the band aesthetic was. And we ran into a part where we're talking to our social media manager, and we like couldn't decide on what kind of art to make for the next single because none of us really knew what the brand was anymore. So that's also why we did a big reset, so we could figure out like what are our vibes, how do we want to represent ourselves, what is our brand. And it's like kind of the boring business aspect of being in a band, but like it seemed really important to like then move forward to know like what to put on our single arts, like what kind of imagery to have in our videos. And I think it really came down to just wanting to be like, we like writing pop music, but we want to be weird and we want to be provocative and we want to like
Yes.
have something that people are going to talk about. And it's not just a catchy song, it's a catchy song with like memorable imagery that goes along with it.
Imagery. Yeah, and just like the idea of trying to write pop and just never quite getting it, just because we just something about us is just unable to create that actual pure pop. But we're like, this is pop, and everybody listens to it and they're like, this is not quite pop.
We're always a little bit too weird, or a little bit too punk, or a little bit too emo, or a little bit too
heavy.
Yeah.
But I think at this point we're like we're just embracing our differences in that way and just kind of moving forward with being not as weird as possible, but like as weird as feels true to ourselves.
Yeah, I absolutely love that. And I feel like it perfectly moves into, the question of how does it feel to be bringing those kind of contrasting ideas together, and maybe why does that feel so authentic to you to have this idea of like pop, but not pop, pop, but kind of freaky?
Oh boy. I'll start with, I think Devin, you can talk about maybe your melodies perhaps.
Yeah, I mean, my situation's kind of weird because like, I don't listen to pop music, but for some reason I'm really good at writing it. Like I listen to a lot of like weird, like instrumental, like prog rock kind of stuff, which often has like pop sensibilities. Like you want like a cool guitar line to be memorable and catchy, and that's kind of the same instinct that you put behind writing a pop song. But I don't know, I guess I just had a skill for it, even though I don't listen to it. I don't know. It's really hard to explain.
It is hard to explain. I think for me, like I love pop music, and I love something that some people don't seem to notice about pop music is that they're actually usually saying some messed up stuff, when they're talking about stuff. It's a lot about heartbreak, and that's kind of like the hardest thing to like even talk about in real life, but somehow it's like I'm just gonna sing about this like this breakup and I haven't showered in like 3 weeks and things like that. So I feel like pop itself is like inherently a little bit weird, and we're just bringing that to more of a forefront.
Maybe we're like pop, but not romantic.
Right. I don't know. I've been writing much more emotional, like romantic songs for the new
I mean,
stuff.
romantic in terms of romance being like a glorified, like ideal of something rather than being like realistic and messy and
yeah. Oh my gosh. That's what it is. We're not romanticized. we don't romanticize our romance.
I love
it's
that.
gritty,
I feel like
pop.
even just that idea of not romanticizing things, I feel like comes up so much in the, always gonna let you down music video, because it's kind of like that idea of look at this fun party, except death is there and it doesn't actually look like everyone's having a great time. And like, that's also what the lyrics are getting at, where it's just like, oh, I'm ruining this party. Like it's kind of that like romantic ideal of being at this like great house party but then turning up and being like, oh, I don't want to be here kind of.
And then flipping it on its side even more of like, at the end, death is like hanging out with us and having a good time.
Yeah, I came up with the concept for that video, and it was entirely based off of Alexi's first lyric of the song where she says, I killed the party. And I was like, oh, well, now death's showing up to reap the soul of the party.
Yeah, and then Devin came up also with the save anyone concept and made all of the props by hand over like a month, just feathers and glue and poster board.
Yeah, it took me like 6 hours to make Alexi's angel wings.
It only took me like an hour to get my hair done for that.
I love that. Was there inherently this connection between like, we have over the two music videos, we have like death in one, we have like angels in the other. Like, is there a conscious connection between the two? Or is it just like imagery that you saw, for both for different reasons?
I think that's mainly just me and my brain. I'm really into like occult bullshit and demons, and I read a lot of fantasy novels, and I play a lot of like tabletop role playing games. It's just I love that like freaky shit, as you put it earlier.
That freaky shit.
Very fair, very fair. All right. And with these two singles that are released so far, you know, they are leading towards your upcoming EP, Popsec, which is set to be released in the near future. So, you know, with this shifting sound, shifting aims as a band, really settling on what you'd like to look like and do moving forward, you know, what are you most looking forward to with its release and following?
For me, it's like just having like more examples of what we do and like kind of committing more fully into our new existence. That's what I'm most looking forward to.
Also, we just like have these songs that we've written that we kind of wrote over the pandemic that we're really proud of and really excited and just want people to hear them.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I mean, you are mentioning like this EP was, you know, written and created throughout the pandemic. And you just mentioned it kind of does have these happier songs, which I find really interesting because I feel like I've connected with a lot of musicians who have been writing, recording, releasing music throughout the pandemic. And a lot of it has been, you know, some of their sadder stuff, some of their, you know, more raw stuff, as some of them put it, because they were in this more vulnerable position. They were feeling disconnected. They wanted to get those feelings out. So, you know, in contrast, you're talking about how these are like exciting, like happy songs. Do you feel like you're kind of finding a place for that in the pandemic?
I think for me, they're like nostalgic for like a bad time. It's like Save Anyone is like, you know, is like somebody like basically two people like breaking up, but like the person just being like I know that you can like have a better life. I know that you're better than you think you are, and that, you know, that you just need to believe in yourself. But the like always gonna let you down is like very much like kind of like a toxic anthem. It's very much just like the narrator for me is like it's like if we just ran away, all of our problems would be fine. Everything would be fine if we had no problems. And then like the second verse is just like don't worry when I go out with my friends. I don't want you to know what's going on with that. You know, it's very like it's all very kind of messed up. Like, and then Party, oh man, our next song that we have coming out is fun because it's like it's kind of like my own version of Don't Speak, the like No Doubt song, because it's about like a relationship, but it's also like kind of about us as a band, because it's very like the chorus is take a snapshot of this life before we fade away. We drove all through the night. I'd do it over and over and over again today. It's very just like we're, you know, however long this is going to last, let's like do it as hard as we can. It's like really like an anthem for like the impermanence of that.
Yeah, I love that. And I cannot wait for that to come out. I'm so excited to listen, especially the second you were like, yeah, it's kind of like Don't Speak. I'm like, you mean it's kind of like one of the best No Doubt songs to exist?
Definitely. Have to agree.
I love that. And sounds like there's so much to look forward to. And there's already so many incredible things that you have been putting out. So if you would like to check out any of the music, the videos, the releases that we have discussed today, please check out the links below the video. Thank you so much to Gloomy June for joining us this week. It's been such a pleasure to have you here and discuss the music. And Gloomy June will be playing us out.
Always gonna let you down.